Ever feel like you're working hard, but nothing's really changing? Like you're doing all the right things, but the progress is so slow and it almost feels pointless. If you ever been tempted to quit because you're not seeing instant results, then this episode's for you. Because the truth is, success isn't built in one big moment, it's stacked piece by piece, just like a puzzle. And today, I'm going to show you why small, consistent wins are the key to massive transformation and why your brain is once again sabotaging you. All right, welcome back or welcome to the High Performance Human Podcast. Now, hopefully, this doesn't come to you as a surprise, but today we live in a world that's obsessed with overnight success, and I'm just as guilty as the rest. Social media makes it look like people wake up one day, change one thing, and suddenly they're rich. Suddenly they're shredded, and suddenly they are finally successful. And I too find myself believing the lie, or should I say, wishing that it was actually true. Because my brain tries to tell me that if I just had the right workout, then I could do it once and have shredded abs. But no matter how many times I look back at any of the things I've had success in, like getting my engineering degree, making six-figure income, building my real estate portfolio, being a parent, the evidence is staggering and proves it's not doing 100 things one time that got me success. It's doing one thing 100 times that got me the results. And real transformation doesn't happen in one single moment. It happens through small, seemingly insignificant actions that stack over time. Kind of like a puzzle. Think about it that way. And the problem is, most people quit before they even get enough puzzle pieces down to see the big picture of what they're doing. So you might be thinking, well, why do we do this? Well, unfortunately, our brains are wired to seek efficiency and immediate rewards. It's really a survival mechanism that we have. Thousands of years ago, if we didn't see immediate results from our actions, we could actually die. If you were hunting and not catching food, your brain didn't say, trust the process, keep going. It said, find an easier way, or we starve and we die. And unfortunately, this wiring still runs in the background of our minds today, even though our survival isn't really at stake. Our primitive brain doesn't really know the difference. This is why we crave shortcuts. It's because our brains are designed to conserve energy and avoid the uncertainty. And when we get this instant result, what we're getting is a nice hit of dopamine to reward us and say, hey, good boy, you're on the right track. Keep going. So when we scroll through social media and we see someone's transformation, whether it's their body, business, relationship, our brain latches onto the idea that there must have been one defining moment, one hack, one breakthrough that made all this happen. It's not that we're naive, it's just that our brains are pattern seeking machines. And we naturally compress complex stories into simple cause and effect relationships. That's the brain's job to save energy. And this is really the root of the problem. This isn't how success actually works in any area of our life. And I challenge you to take a second and do your own survey. Think of every major success that you've had in your life, whether it was your education, your career, a relationship. Was it not built through repetition, consistency, and incremental improvements? The evidence should all be there, but your brain just doesn't want to believe it because it takes work, patience, and faith in the process to get the results. And the problem is there's no dopamine reward for slow and steady unless you can find a way to redefine what the instant result actually is. And this is where most people screw this up. They are only measuring progress based on the big results. So, for instance, they go to the gym for a week and you don't see the abs. So, what do? You quit, right? They start a business, they don't make money right away. So, they assume this is never going to work or it's not working. Another one that I see a lot is people try to meditate, me included, when I started for 2 days, and they still feel stressed and they decide, well, obviously this isn't working. I'm not seeing the results. Therefore, my conclusion is this is useless. And that is even if you can make it for a couple days. Because, like I said, I couldn't even do it for 2 minutes when I first started practicing, but I didn't give up. So let's go back to this whole puzzle piece analogy. Okay. If you only put down 5 pieces, would you throw it all away and say, well, this puzzle's broken? No. You keep going because you know the more pieces that you add, the clearer the picture starts to get. And then what happens next? It actually starts to get easier because it's easier to see what you are creating and where the next puzzle piece goes. And your success works the exact same way. Every time you take a small action, it's like adding one more puzzle piece. It may not seem like much on its own, but over time it compounds into something undeniable. So, how do we actually apply all of this? How do we really rewire our minds to stop chasing instant results and start stacking small wins that can lead to real change? Well, here's how it works. It's backed by psychology, neuroscience. I want to give you guys some tips. So, first thing is every time you take a small step toward your goal, your brain fires these neurons and it's building new pathways. This is what we call neuroplasticity. And your brain is literally rewiring itself based on repeated actions over and over. At first, it's really, really slow and it feels awkward. And that's thanks to all the stress hormones like cortisol. But the cool thing is if you feel stress, congratulations. That means it is working. It's like walking a path through thick grass, right? At first, it's really hard and it takes a lot of effort to walk through the grass. But the more you do it, the clearer that path becomes. And eventually, it becomes second nature. So if you've ever started something new and you struggled at first, then one day it just clicked. Well, that's neuroplasticity in action. And your brain finally built enough pathways to make it automatic, like walking, talking, eating, all of these things. We finally build up the neuroplasticity, the neural pathways to make it second nature. So remember that when you're starting something, that you need to build momentum, and the struggle is part of the process. The second thing that we can do to help set ourselves up for success is we need to stop measuring results and we need to start measuring actions. So if you only track results, what happens? You get discouraged really fast. This is one of the first things that I teach all my clients. What do we really need to focus on to get to our destination? And the answer is always actions. And just like the puzzle pieces, if we can find a way to track your actions, you can start to see your actual progress. And if you're building a business, don't just track your sales, track how many calls you made. If you're getting in shape, don't just track your weight, right? We want to track how many times did you work out? How many reps did you do? How many minutes have you actually been to the gym? This shift, changes your focus from things you can't control, like when will you get the results you want, to the things that you can control, like the time at the gym, the reps, all those things. And I can honestly tell you, when I start to shred for myself, I don't know which meal or which workout it's going to be the one that gets my body fat below 10%. Because the truth be told, there wasn't actually one. It was the compilation of all of them together that finally got me the results that I want. And I can go on all kinds of tangents about why this is a good thing. Because what happens in our brain is if we know when it will happen and if we know how long it's going to take, all the joy and the excitement of the results dissipates. Like if we can predict, let's say, the plot of a movie, right? If you know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, it actually is pretty boring. But a movie like The Sixth Sense or Inception has so many twists and turns, and that's literally why we enjoy it. So we need to reframe and start to get excited and be okay that we don't know when it's going to happen. It's okay to not know what is going to be the specific date, and that's what's going to make it so much more enjoyable. Okay. All right. And the third thing that we can do is we want to make it as simple as possible. The whole thing, keep it simple, stupid, is so important whenever we're creating any sort of new habit. And the reason that most people fail at the beginning is because they try to do too much at once. I'm a big believer in earn the right to add. And most people come in and they want to go from 0 to 100 overnight. And I'm just as guilty. I'm one of those people. So if that's you, you're not alone because I'm addicted to doing extreme and the most in any endeavor that ever take on. I have to consistently remind myself to prevent burnout and quitting when I don't get the results because I've tried to do too much too fast. So instead, I try to pick one or maybe two small things and commit to doing them daily. Maybe it's 5 minutes of journaling or one extra set in the gym, 2 minutes of deep breathing. Now, it might not sound like much, but going to the gym for 8 hours once a week is not going to help you as much as going to the gym for 20 minutes 5 days a week. The real objective is creating a consistent habit of repeatable action steps. It's finding a way to stack them day after day until the picture starts to become clear. And the last thing that you can do is you can start to leverage the actions and use those to start to create what we call a new identity. Because the more you see small wins stacking up, the more your brain will start to believe this is who I am. If you go to the gym consistently, your brain stops seeing you as someone who works out occasionally and starts identifying you as someone that's healthy or someone that is an athlete. So if you stick to your business habits, you stop seeing yourself as someone trying to build a business and you actually start to identify and see yourself as an entrepreneur. Every action you take is literally a vote for the person that you are becoming. Let me say that again. Every action that you take is a vote for the person that you're becoming. Okay, so now it's your turn. Here is your challenge for the week. Pick one small action that aligns with your bigger goal and do it every day for the next 5 days. And yeah, it's okay to take the weekend off. I just need you to get 5 days in the book. And if you can't figure out what's the one thing, hey, that's okay. Because now your new goal is to sit for 5 or 10 minutes every day for the next 5 days thinking about exactly that. What is it that I can do consistently that I believe, based upon the information that I know at this moment in time, will get me the results that I want? Prove to yourself that you really want it. Because you'll find out if you aren't committed to spending just 10 minutes every day, 5 days a week to figure it out, then there's probably a good chance that you don't really want it. And that's great because it's okay. It gives you the opportunity to move on and find something that you are willing to sacrifice time and that you're willing to struggle to solve. Now, remember, I don't care how small it is. The only thing that I care about is that you commit. Track it, pay attention, notice how it starts shifting your mindset. Do you notice that your identity starts to change? If so, DM me, tag me when you see the momentum starting to build. I want to hear about it. Others want to hear about it because it's going to help motivate them. We need to rewrite our brains to recognize that every big success story was built brick by brick, piece by piece. So keep stacking your wins, and soon enough, the picture will be